Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. And today we're going to be covering Loki season 2, episode 4. I've got two amazing guests. Spoilers, the same guests from last week. But we're excited to get into what has was really been like. I mean, it's just a crazy episode, you know. But yeah, before we get into that, quickly, thank you for joining us and listening to our podcast. Obviously, we're covering Loki at the moment. We've got Gen V episodes as well going up, and we are going to be covering Invincible, which is starting back again in a couple of days. We have already covered Sex Education, Top Boy, Winning Time, and The Continental. And of course, our sister podcast, Is This Cinema, is back. We've got episodes on Taylor Swift's Eras Tour and the new Martin Scorsese film, Killers of the Flower Moon. So yeah, check that out. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into Loki. My first guest, the editor in chief on Streamer. Please welcome back Mo. Mo, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And
Thank you for
please
having me on
welcome.
again.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And please welcome back. The reason why some of us are grouchy on this recording because it's taking longer than we planned. Please welcome Jeremiah.
Hi
How's it
guys,
going?
I'm good. I'm good. Glad to be back again.
Good, 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 good.
Okay, cool.
If it wasn't clear, Jeremiah took a lot of time, so some of us have been waiting for a while to start this.
Okay, apparently okay. Well, I'm sorry. Yes, they're right. It's my fault. Basically, I have to apologize live. But yes, I had a plan for how I was gonna do this tonight. Yeah, because I have stuff to do, but I had a plan of how I was gonna organize everything. I had a plan. I had a pretty good plan. Well, a plan. So I'm
But
sorry.
you you
It
you
didn't.
you, you went off the path, so you're a variant basically. You should be pruned for that.
I
Shit.
mean, everybody ends up ruined at some
What?
point,
Pruned. I
right?
mean, let's see if I agree with you in another half an hour because now I can't go get my vape.
You
No,
scared
but
of
yeah,
getting pruned?
everyone gets ruined at some point. So it's yeah. Besides, if I get pruned, I'm confident that I, like a Loki, would survive and find a way to be alive and come back.
Everyone survives when they get pruned. They get sent to the void. But
Yeah, exactly. But only a few people don't get eaten by a lion. I wouldn't get eaten. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't get eaten.
Right, before we go fully on that tangent, we've got a lot of stuff to cover.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, so first of all, like general thoughts about the episode. Jeremiah, what do you think? You think it was a good episode?
Yeah. Um, I think okay, so on one extent, I kind of wish Mo never told me how good this episode would be. Just because I went in very expectant, which is very different to the rest of the episodes. I didn't know what to expect. So it's kind of like I'm waiting to see what gave him that reaction. But besides that, it was still like in my head, I loved it. Um I think I like when a show like we've got a lot of comedy, we've got a lot of world building, and then we have an episode that is purely this is the problem, this is the action. We're literally watching everyone in what feels like real time, obviously not really, but what feels like real time actually intensely act. um I love seeing that. So for me it was beautiful. There was still some comedy, but it was straight to business. We're seeing literally everyone deal with whatever it is they're supposed to be doing. People are really coming out with their heavy stuff as well. Everyone is stressed, and the episode is just very intense and hype, like fast paced because of that. It's exciting when things are like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like it was a very exciting episode. Um, I think for me, it almost kind of felt like a season finale. Um,
I
and it
get
was
that.
just, it was just quite. It was honestly, it was really nice to watch. I also echo your sentiments on. I'm not gonna blame Mo, but like, I think just in general, like
whoa,
everyone
whoa,
was.
whoa, whoa, whoa!
No, 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 no,
Why are
no,
we
no, no,
blaming
no,
me?
no.
Why? No,
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 it's
no,
not like I
no,
said. It's not a bad thing. It's just like
no,
I said
no! Wow,
I said I'm not gonna blame you because
no, no!
he came out and said Mo said, "Oh, the episode is amazing and I wish he did it." For me, I think it was just something general online. Like I just wish
Yes,
in a way
exactly.
well,
I
it
wish I
wasn't just
went
you
in
who said
cold.
so, because Thor said the same thing as well. He said episode four like would be something. So it's like
Yeah,
there's
Yeah,
this
so
thing. Yeah,
don't blame me.
yeah. My point
yeah,
is,
that's
I
what.
wish I was
Just
as blind
blame
as I
blame the immigrant.
was.
Blame the immigrant. That's the solution. I say that like TJ isn't American.
You know what?
I mean,
But
we're
yeah,
all immigrants
you know,
here.
it's just basically just blame the internet. Like if this was in the old
Yeah.
Yeah,
days
that's the
when
point
we were
I'm
all
making.
watching
Like,
Lost and stuff, like yeah,
Blame Joe Biden.
fine, bloody
Blame Joe
hell.
Biden.
Right, I'm not touching that one. Mo, what did you think about the episode?
but
Well,
like, it didn't. Okay.
clearly I loved the episode. However, people are being quite sour towards it. Speaking of sour, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I love the
for our
episode.
audio for our audio listeners, Mo just threatened to eat a very sour treat and do a TikTok challenge just now, basically,
I
without
will do the
audio.
TikTok challenge at some point in the episode.
I
But
honestly thought that was your like key to do it.
no, but there are going to be a few moments of that. I've got them scripted out in my head.
Oh god.
No, I loved the episode. I thought it was great. I think, like you said, it felt like a season finale, and the marketing material really hasn't shown much from the upcoming episode. So it really is anyone's guess um,
Hmm.
how it goes. But I am sorry if I set your expectations a bit too high. That's how you apologize, by the way, when you're forced to apologize on camera.
Are we trying to
So,
warn up apologies now?
The shots are all over the place this episode.
yeah,
I mean, everything is
it's
chaos. So
yeah, exactly. The multiverse just broke. There are no rules anymore.
Yeah, yeah, no, like I think for me as well, like I really just enjoyed like the atmosphere of the episode, and like
mm,
it was just, especially like when you get to like halfway, there's just something like there's just a kind of tension, and I think special shout out to Natalie Hope for the score, because I think that really came true in this episode, and like all the scenes were just hitting on a different level. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like I felt like, I don't know, I felt like I was part of the action almost. Like, okay, something's happening here. Like I couldn't just, sometimes you just sit back and let everything happen in front of you. I feel like I was a
mm.
bit on edge here, a bit more, and like, yeah, I credit the score, the directing, and stuff for that especially. All right, let's get into the episode. I don't, obviously everybody wants to start at that ending, but I feel like we can do a whole podcast on just the ending. But let's try and build up to it. Let's try and touch on the other things before. Um, so obviously we pick up right pretty much where we left off in the last episode with the secret that Miss Minutes lets Ravona know. The secret obviously turning out to be that she actually was a key part in helping He Who Remains win the war. They were actually partners, and then he just wiped her memory. Obviously, we all kind of theorized different things. Yes, I said she might be a variant, but I
Is it
feel like apart
racist?
from, I mean, take, we'll let the audience decide how racist that was for thinking that two black people are the same. But but
Well,
in my
Oh,
in my defense, right, I felt like, okay, yes, she didn't come out and say she was a variant, but I felt like the spirit behind my theory was still there of like this is power that she felt, that she was actually kind of entitled to, and then he wasn't trying to share with her. But what did you guys think about the reveal? Was it in line with what you said? Obviously, also tied into the recording we heard before. Yeah, what are your general thoughts on that whole kind of exchange? Mo, I'll go to you first.
yeah. Again, I didn't have any expectations going into whatever the big secret could have been. Um, I had no clue. I am like very disconnected. I don't even have a brain to theorize on things. So I was just like, okay, next episode. Especially when I was watching the episodes, I was like, next
Oh
episode.
yeah, you got to binge it, didn't you?
I did. But so I had no clue. And then the reveal, the way that it all kind of circled back to episode one, that's what I was saying last week. Episode one and episode four are like pairs. They
Hmm.
complete the story that like episode one has a lot of setup, episode four is the end of that setup. Um,
Hmm.
so I am just very interested to see where it goes next.
Which is, I guess that kind of contributes to why I was getting like that season finale feeling as well, because it almost feels like everything that kind of came out of episode one is just resolved at the end of this
Exactly.
episode.
Yeah, like a lesser show would have stretched out the reveal to episode 6, for instance, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like I feel like they would have again. We'll get to it, but obviously you do this when you obviously have something crazy planned. But yeah,
Hmm.
Jeremiah, what did you think about the secret, the reveal? Do you feel like that's all there is to it? You just wiped her memory. Did some? I know some people will be thinking, you can't trust Miss Minutes. Where are you on that?
Oh, that's interesting. You bring that up. But like Mo, I also didn't think to theorize on who Renslayer could be, or because we were talking about it that like we didn't know too much of her from the comics either, other than I guess she was a warrior princess that dated Kang at a
Yeah,
point.
pretty
So it
much. Yeah.
makes sense that they've kind of brought that back in, that she was a general that was, Kang doesn't do partners. That's what we're seeing as well. Like she was a general that was seeing herself as his partner, and he established control by showing that she's just like another variant of the TVA, wipe all their memories. Um, and I thought that was fitting because it would solidify the dynamic that they have, where she would feel like it would you would see why that would make her angry. The same way she was probably upset when Victor Timely dumped her off the boats. This is even worse because it's like I had such a big hand in making all this happen. And it's something that's always been sticking with me. It also like brings this to mind is when I was doing the rewatch of season one, I realized that when Sylvie first gets brought into the TVA, Renslayer does it. So at that point, Renslayer is not a judge. There was some other person that was a judge. I think it was some white man or something. I don't really remember. So not only did he wipe her memories, like it was okay for her to start at the bottom of the ladder before climbing up the ranks to be Rens. Like I would be very upset too, and that's why I thought the reveal, like I thought it was good. Like I thought that definitely fits the build up that we got of this will make you very angry, and it did, and we saw the consequences of that, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Like, I didn't even think about the fact that she basically went back to the TVA and started working up again. Like, because yeah, you're right. Like, she had to work through the ranks, and we don't even know how long ago what Miss Minutes showed us was. Like, could it be like
Hmm.
100 years of her like trying to make it back to the top and stuff? And the fact that she pretty much made it at least near to the top again almost kind of tells you that I guess she has like this innate kind of drive or skill at work or TVA stuff because
Hmm.
like she could easily without her memories just have been like I don't know like doing a desk job or whatever, but she
Yeah,
still
and
Didn't
got
it's
she
it.
kill a
solid.
bunch of people? Why are you giving her a performance review like
I mean,
she's
we're
just
gonna
about
get
to?
there.
I
Like,
mean,
like you're grading her like you're her boss or something. Oh, you're praising her determination,
But
a
I think
commitment.
that's also the thing. It kind of
I mean,
brings like sorry to cut there, but like the way I've always seen her character is like they want me to believe she's this big bad, right? But I'm seeing Kang right there. So to me, Renslayer, it's not like I just didn't take her as a serious
big bads can
villain.
coexist.
I know,
I
but
mean,
like
if
there
anything,
was
she's a
something
victim.
about exactly, but there was something about her that didn't really feel as much as they told you she had bad intentions. Like she was willing to prune Mobius. Everyone's like, "How could you do that? Your friend." That's as far as it goes. How could you do that to your
Mm,
friend? It's betrayal. It's not villainy, right? I didn't really see her as threatening until
mhm.
this episode. Like up until now, she's been serving, and we'll probably get into that as well later on in the other scene. But yeah, I thought like that really
She's been
solidified
serving,
the
or she's been
ending.
serving. Like
Oh
there's two
boy.
different, two different, two
I
different
mean,
definitions there.
I
Like she
mean,
always serves,
I
but
mean,
yeah.
she's
both. When
serving
you think about both, I guess in that
Respectfully,
sense, yeah.
respectfully.
But I
respectful.
meant like she's always worked with the idea that she's doing something with someone else. Like, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really feel like she herself is this big villain with her own agenda or whatever. Like until
But you
now.
see, like that's
Now she's the
interesting. Even now,
HBIC.
no, but like the thing is, even now, I still felt like Miss Minutes was the real villain. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like, all, jokes apart, though, I think like Miss Minutes is like top five MCU villains of all time. Like that,
She
like
gets
jokes
scarier
apart.
every episode. I'll agree with that. Like she surprised me in this episode with one particular scene as well. So I think I get what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Miss Minutes. She used to be sweet, but now she's a bit sour.
Oh boy.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Third time's a charm. Third
All
time's a
the sour
charm.
puns. All the sour
It's
puns
go-
is
it's
coming
go-
in
it's gonna
fire.
happen. But when I actually do it, I've already planned out what I'm gonna say for the next for when I actually do it. So don't worry, you got that to look forward to.
Mm.
But no, I think Miss Minutes as a villain. I don't know who the villain is. I think it's Ouroboros.
Oof. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
Saying that, let's get into OB. There's like a basically like a almost like a Comic Con kind of thing with Victor Timely and Obi meeting up. Like they're both like massive fans of each other, kind of asking for autographs of one another. We get the call back to the meaning of Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail, the bootstrap of like if Ouroboros wrote the TVA handbook based on Timely's early work, but then Timely only did that because he got the handbook. Yeah, so we get that whole scene, like that whole energy, and obviously Casey is with them. It's like TVA nerd convention basically.
Mm.
What do we think about that, Mo? What do you think?
Yeah, first off, I just want to apologize because I think I might have spoiled it last week when I said that Victor Timely and Ouroboros meet. So
Oh, I don't even
I
I
didn't
remember that.
notice.
I apologize for that because I thought that happened in last week's episode because I just didn't watch last week's episode before I.
Ah,
God, I actually missed that. If you
but,
did, if you did spoil it, I actually
same,
missed that.
same. I
but I
completely,
did.
because we even talked about we're excited to see them meet. I remember that happening, but I don't remember. Yeah, no, wow, I missed that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I did spoil it, I can't remember. I think I might have done, but it might have been, when we had to restart. But
Uh,
anyway, I thought the meeting was cute, but I'm convinced that that meeting made me convinced that he's the villain of the show
Hmm.
because I think that his mission is to kill all the variants. His
All
mission
the
is to kill
variants.
all the timely, all the Kang,
all the
he who
Kang
remains.
Ooh,
variants.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I
that
think.
part.
Like, or kill the most threatening ones and take over the TVA
all
because
right.
maybe when he put what's his face's head in the little scanner, it showed him what his intentions are or something like that. Like if they and it revealed that like eventually he would wind up in the same position as he who remains, who would wind up basically pruning everything. And that idea of the TVA is like because Ouroboros is the only one who hasn't had his memory wiped, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so
a hell.
what if? Yeah,
I was just gonna say that's a hell of a theory. You
it's a
I
know,
very
it's
interesting theory.
like it's
well.
interesting. Like I'm just thinking, like yeah. Sorry, go on.
So yeah, that's and we were kind of following like if you watch the episode with the view that like he is the villain, he dictates everything. Like he says he's the one that says, "Oh no, this won't work. Oh no, that won't work. All you need to do is do this and go there and put your head in this thing and
Mm.
that." So he's controlling the dynamic of everything. So maybe his plan all along was to get what's his face to unlock the thing, kill him off, and then I don't know. Uh, have a party.
Have
Go,
a party.
yeah.
As you said that,
Go do lines in the box, the
Oh
killing
boy.
box.
Oh
okay.
boy. Oh boy. Um, I Jesus Christ. I still, I still feel like Ob is on our side. I feel like he's too cute or whatever, not to be the villain. But like
Wow.
that's still such a strong theory. One thing from like the whole meeting that got me though was that I felt like Casey felt like left behind. It was like, oh my gosh, I met my hero Ob, and now Ob is meeting his own hero. Where does that leave me? Like suddenly, like the one guy who had memorized the handbook is like third is like the third smartest person in the room. He just looks sad in the background and stuff. I was like, oh, poor Casey. Should probably pick up another skill. But yeah, Jeremiah, what did you think about everybody meeting up? TVA handbook fan book club. What's going on?
Um, I think I agree with Mo that there's definitely more than meets the eye with that whole interaction. But I don't know. I'm not willing to stick my head out in whatever the machine Ouroboros had and say like it's one way or another, because in the same way we were theorizing on whether or not Victor Timely was like aware or was simply just another variant that He Who Remains was using, was constructing to be in a certain place, or like you even said, like maybe it doesn't even matter where he ends up. All that matters is that we ensure that the TVA is created, those books are where they need to be, and there's a closed loop without anyone looking too closely to find out where the loop actually started, if it started somewhere. Um, I think in that same way, I still can't tell if Ouroboros is, for example, if we let's assume Moore is correct and everything he's been doing has been to manipulate everybody
I
into
always am
believing him
correct.
a certain way. Let's assume so. Um, is like where does he get inserted into the story? How do we know that he's still not like Victor Timely, a tool of He Who Remains, who is for all intents and
Hmm.
purposes dead? Like it could be that Ouroboros is part of a certain plan, whether he himself is aware of it or not. But I didn't want to think too much on that theory because I feel like there's a lot of assumptions that
So,
still
s-
need to be put in
so like
place for
a
that to even
so
be
like a
true.
plan C. Like plan A was obviously He Remains, what we saw in season one. Plan B
Mhm.
was Victor Timely. Like, are you saying like plan C would have been Ouroboros?
No, I'm saying like maybe all of this is part of the same plan. It's like, okay, so if I'm dead,
Okay.
enact this plan, and this plan involves making sure that Victor Timely receives this book written by Ouroboros, and in that way, Ouroboros also down the line feels he's inspired by this same Victor Timely, who is also inspired by Ouroboros, and maybe that machination, whatever that eventually means, is also a machination of He Who Remains, whether or not Ouroboros' intentions are pure. I don't actually know, but I think in general. I was happy seeing him interact with all the characters I've been saying I want to see him interact with. I want to see him
Hmm.
interact with Sylvie, and it's like somebody killed, and that killed me. And like even with the interactions with Casey, and I think even with Casey, there's probably still something going on there because we still don't know. Like anyway, we can get to Casey in a second because I don't want to say Casey is suspicious, but in the same way you're saying Ouroboros is suspicious and Casey might be the hero, it's like if that's happening, maybe Ouroboros is trying to make Casey look like a villain in something that happened in this
Mm.
episode that we could probably get into as well. I have no idea, but in terms of all of them meeting, that scene was great for me. It was funny. Like when Victor Timely squealed, I was like, oh my god! Like I've seen fanboying, but this is a different level. Like there was genuine appreciation for all of their efforts, and it took Sylvie to kind of remind them, like, guys, there's a ticking time bomb. Like, can we focus? I'm just sad that Obi's
Speaking of
autograph.
ticking and
Yeah.
talking, it's time.
Oh boy.
Jesus the Lord.
I'm
Wow.
joking. I'm joking.
Well, yeah, I'm very sad that I mean we should have known. Like, if they tell you, it's kind of like the whole thing in TV. If someone tells you, "I'll do this when I return," or "I'll come back to this," you just know that that thing's not going to happen. So Obi's autograph is missing, which is why I've claimed it. But yeah,
So, yeah, I think I don't know. Like I said, I still think Obi is fine, but if he does turn out to be
okay.
a villain, I mean, it'll make sense because literally the world is ending, and he had the time to build that amazing model of everything to show us what the hell is going on. And it's like, bro, isn't this time you'd have been using to figure out
It
the
might have
thing you were
built it
building or whatever?
since like all
Well,
the
I got a
EOs he did
question.
down there.
I got a
Go on,
question
bro.
though. Like, if so, episode one showed that Obi's mind can like retain new information from the past when it gets
Hmm.
affected by it. Why he wouldn't just travel to the future to after the blast doors have been thinged and develop? Because you can time travel within the TVA, evidently, as episode one showed. So
Yeah,
why
with
he
the
didn't just
Templar
develop a
portal and
way?
stuff.
Yeah, why he didn't just develop a way to like go into the future and see what happens? Seems a bit sus to me.
We've never seen him time travel, actually, have we? No, he's never even gone into
Exactly.
like a tempered door or
Oh,
anything like that.
until this season, I think everyone assumed that time travel wasn't even possible within the TVA, which is why they probably assumed that time slipping shouldn't be possible.
Hmm.
because like I remember Thor's
Because
theory
there should be
was
no time.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thor's theory was something about the fact that the reason we're experiencing time. I didn't agree with this, by the way, but the reason we're experiencing time
Just have to get it out
differently
there that you you
is
hate him.
is because
You're like,
the loom is overloaded and everything is broken, so anything can happen. And I get that, and on the surface it works, but it's like I don't know.
ooh, go for his
There was
neck.
there was a past, like as we can see, right? There was a past where what's his name? He Who Remains decided to wipe everyone's memories, and we already said that probably happened multiple times as well. Because that's also why he can go into the past and meet Casey and Mobius, but they don't remember him when they meet him in
Hmm.
the presence of season one. Uh, so from my perspective, there's always been a past. Why do the variants not time travel within the TVA? I guess you could ask that of any variant, not just Obi. You could ask why is Hunter B-15 never thought to time travel. I think they've all just been performing. Like if you assume that they're all innocent, then they've just all been performing their rules because they never realized that, for example, they were all variants. They all just thought that everything they knew was true.
Mm. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think we need a bit more information when it comes to OB's part of things.
Mm,
One thing I would say, like, I want to get you guys' thoughts on is that some people are saying, and it's like a popular theory, like, I don't want to know where you guys stand of, like, did He Who Remains expect Victor Timely to fail? Or did he expect him to actually fix the loop? What do you guys think? Like,
Um, TBD.
fair enough.
Only because if it was in a branch timeline, it means that it wasn't part of He Who Remains' plan, and they went and collected
yeah.
him from a branch timeline. Um,
Mm. But wasn't, like
so
we said, the timeline branched by what He Remains said, right? Like by giving him, because they gave him the book
Yeah.
on the sacred timeline, and then that created the branch timeline,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but like so giving him the book might not like probably wasn't what He Who Remains had planned. If giving him the book caused a branch timeline.
right? Okay.
But this is what I mean as well in terms of if Obi is a villain, then is Obi even the main villain? Because in that
Well,
case, like picking up on what you just like if just to, I'm not saying that this is what you're saying, but if just to tap on that theory, it's like if that was the plan, then we could say Victor Type, He Who Remains' original plan was to create a variant whose entire purpose would be to get to stick his head inside Obi's machine and eventually be vaporized, spaghettified, or whatever when he goes out. In which
because
case,
he was
Obi
like the
is,
most threatening
or
to
because
He Who
he's a
Remains.
version of He Who Remains that can be done, that can do that without He Who Remains himself dying so early on. Because we kept theorizing about whether or not Victor Timely was the same character, but Victor Timely meeting his apparent death would suggest he's not. So is he just kind of like I don't want to go back to CW before you guys kill me this season again.
Ugh.
A different show, a different show. But like this idea of time remnants, kind of like using a time remnant to do your dirty work. Like there's a closed loop there. He's going to be created, he's going to die, but now the thing that you need to be done is done.
I I I want to kind of say yes, probably, but when I say Obi is the villain, I don't mean as though like he's evil. I just mean as though he's the person that's behind everything, probably with good intentions,
Mm.
um, but going about executing his plan the wrong way,
In a misguided
um,
way,
and
yeah.
and
Fair
also
enough.
not revealing his intentions to the people that he's working with, probably because they will say, "No, you can't do that," and probably be like wet blankets about it. You can't just kill people. Well, sometimes you need to, and people are disposable sometimes. Sometimes.
Fair enough.
Oh boy.
I think I'm more of the if Obi turns out to be a villain, it would be funny if it's just an accidental villain. Like he realizes that it's all his fault, not necessarily that he planned it that way. You know, like
That's
if
that's a crackpot theory. I love it.
You mean like Peter Parker and No Way Home?
perhaps like he's just like,
What?
you know,
I'm sorry. Do you guys think he's the villain?
No,
no.
that's just me trolling.
Oh, okay,
No,
that's
because Peter
cool.
gets a lot of flack because obviously he asked for that spell, and that set off the whole thing going nuts.
Yeah, I know.
Different.
Yeah, Spider-Man's dumb. He's dumb as rocks. But OB really is not that dumb.
This is funny because I'm playing the new Spider-Man video game at the moment, and there is a flashback where he is really, really dumb. So, so this is hitting very different for me. Going
Did you
towards
see
this.
did you see the video of the NPCs and they're just talking about like baby
Oh
powder and
yeah,
they can't.
about being nannies and stuff. Cracked me
Yeah,
up so much.
it was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing. I don't even play. I used to have a PS5 and I don't have it anymore because I really don't play games. I played the first Spider-Man game and I played it for like 3 months and I saw how far I got in it. It was like 2%. I didn't get past the tutorial.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I didn't get past Fisk Tower, so whatever. But the NPCs in the new game do make me want to kind of get a PS5 again.
Yeah, all the clips I've been seeing are killing me. I'm still very early on in the game. I only started last night,
Mm.
so I haven't got into that fun stuff yet. But yeah, that's Spider Man. Cool. So we'll come back to all the Victor Timely stuff with the ending. One thing I've got here on my notes. So we have the whole thing with Doc's Brad Wolf and the Minutemen. You know, B-15 wants to get them on side. We get Ravona and Miss Minutes paying them a recruitment visit, and one of the most chilling scenes in the MCU almost. And you know, credit to all the actors because it's one of those things where it's like, yes, you know, you can come out of the show and be like, yes, they were cheap. They didn't want to show people getting squished into sugar cubes or whatever. But then it's another thing to have the acting talent be able to sell it so
Mm.
well that, you know, it actually still works. Like, it's not like you just start laughing at the show. It's like, oh, why can't you afford that? But, you know, it still had the same gravitas and stuff and the reactions from everybody. Um, but yeah, I was also surprised that only Brad Wolf said yes. But yeah, Mo, what do you think?
I have something to say on Docs, and I'm gonna give a light spoiler warning only because obviously Docs is dead now. The original plan was for that actor to not play Docs, not
To
play this
play a
random
variant of Loki, right?
to play a variant of Sylvie
Oh.
and
Still the
all.
same,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah.
No, not really, not really, because it was going to be an aged up Sylvie
A
who returns to
variant
the
of a
team.
variant.
A very yeah. So that was the original plan. I don't think they're doing that anymore. So
I mean,
yeah. But they could still go back
Well,
and do it and do it in those last two episodes. But
that's what I'm saying. I don't think that it's if you say she's an aged up Sylvie and Sylvie is a variant and the TVA agents are all variants anyway, like there's no saying that she couldn't have been in the original multiverse before the first war. She was an aged up Sylvie that he who remains plucked from somewhere. Like they could still do it if they wanted. Not saying that they will. Yeah.
just to make sure that we're all on the same page here, the current kind of theory among everyone is that the first multiversal war is actually the one that Secret Wars is.
right?
That's what
Okay. So we're
so
going back to
so
have that again, yeah.
yeah, so that's what everyone is saying that that theory is. So the multiverse now has broken and it's gone into chaos and everything like that.
Hmm.
Um, so now that's the point that like all of those He Who Remains variants are going to start popping up. I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
I know the
anything.
Yeah.
TVA. Yeah, I imagine
I
we're gonna have something like that where the TVA is involved, and I don't know, they have to like help fight or whatever.
I think it
Um,
follows because I mean, like the whole Ouroboros thing, snake eating its tail, even where Timely is like, "Oh, I guess I will," and I did. It can both be the future and the past at the same time if everything is cyclical at the end of the day. Like,
yeah, yeah. But you know, what did you guys think about that scene though? Like, did you expect more people to join Brad? Did you feel like one thing I kind of someone mentioned this to me, and I think I kind of agree is that it almost kind of felt like Docs kind of went on a 180 very quickly. Like at the time she's talking to B-15, she's still like, no, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like Bradley. And Jesus Christ, why is she doing the mom thing of calling him his full name when he's doing something bad? So it literally took me out of the episode for a bit. I'm like, has anyone called him Bradley ever? And all of a sudden she just assumes that's his full name. It's like Bradley. think about what you're doing. Everyone here would rather die. I was like, oh my god. I don't know why, but it took me out for a second. But yeah, Jeremiah, what did you think about her turn and
I get
everything
that
happening there?
because I had a similar question because even with the whole Bradley thing, it like when I was watching the second time this afternoon, I thought when she was talking to Brad originally, she only called him Brad kind of like mockingly, like we know all about your life, Brad. But like
Mm,
everyone still kind of refers to him as X5. And then
mm,
now, when she's taking a stand, all of a sudden she accepts that he's Bradley. And that was like very well. Again, we don't know how much time has passed. Although, if we're watching as though it's real time, we can assume it hasn't been that long because literally B15 goes away for a bit, comes back, and they're all dead. So it can't have been too long. So I kind of get why people would question that. And for me as well, I definitely was on the camp of there should be more people who would feel like Brad. Um, Especially if I'm thinking if I was an agent in that room, as soon as I saw that machine going, like maybe I'll be thinking like, what's the right thing to do here? I know that Renslayer is not who to go with, but as soon as I saw that machine going, I'm assuming that, of course, they know what it does. As soon as I saw it going, I would have stepped aside because even if I don't go with Renslayer, I want to live. Like, and I want to live. I would have gone. I would have been like, right. I don't know. I will probably die if she finds out I'm going to double cross her. But at least I'll be alive to figure out a way to not let that happen. But this whole idea that they even because when I watched it the second time, I noticed that some of them even came closer. They were taking a stand as well because the first time I watched it, felt like Doc spoke for everyone, and the only
mm-hmm,
other named actor got to make a point that he wasn't being spoken for, and I felt like more
mm-hmm,
people should have done that. But I noticed that some of them actually came a bit closer. So that to me was them non-verbally making a stance as well, which
mm-hmm.
kind of answers the question of was Doc speaking for everyone? She was, but they did enough to make you know that they agreed. I just wish that they didn't all agree. I wish that we had one or two more people who would be like me, who would originally not want to be the ones to say it like Brad, but the moment they see, they're like, nope. Because even if I didn't do it immediately, as soon as it comes on, I'll be looking like, hey, 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 I changed my mind, please,
I
please.
mean,
But nobody, they were sticking with it to the end, and I just didn't understand
I
that.
mean, I mean, did you see the joy on Miss Minutes' face when they put that on? There's no way
Exactly.
anybody was getting out. Like, even if you say you're changing your mind, they'll be like, you're not going to be loyal because you changed your mind so quickly.
Yeah.
Um,
And then, sorry to stop
no,
Mo
so
here,
gone.
but then that's the other thing. This was a scene that I was thinking about. Like, this is the first time I'm seeing Renslayer not just do something evil, but she's ruthless. Like, you can see everyone else's face. X5 or Brad is absolutely squirming. He cannot watch. Miss Minute, she's just like she's loving this, and that's why she's so evil. So like she's
Top
like
villain.
she can't believe Renslayer would do this, but she's in awe. She's not like surprised. She's in actual awe. Like she loves this, and then Renslayer is just ruthless. It's like you can't really see if there's a slight twitch because she's like uncomfortable with what she has to do, or she covers it so
Hmm.
well. She's just ruthless about it, and that's why this is the first time that I'm actually seeing her as someone to be feared. Which is why also to answer your question on why would Docs stand against Renslayer, is what the other council member said. Docs ultimately wants to protect the timeline and the TVA. But in the episode one, we already saw that they all agreed that Renslayer was rogue. So even if she didn't agree with B15, she would also definitely not stand with Renslayer, especially when it's just been told if we have to defend the TVA from Renslayer. If you get what I mean.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
no,
Well,
that makes
like,
sense. No, that makes sense. Like, again, I got everything. Like, it wasn't like it didn't make sense of or B15 and of what the other judge was trying to say that B15 should convince. It all made sense, but I just feel like that turn was just a bit too quick for me personally.
I get
But
that.
that is very much a nitpick. Mo, what did you think about the whole thing?
About Renslayer?
Yeah, about like Red Slayer, this minutes, Brad being the only one to say he's joining them, all of that stuff.
Eh.
Was
It's
that not?
it's a very interesting choice to have that be your B plot of the whole series. And now that that's kind of ended, mm, like I want to see more of of what other people were doing because we got a little bit of that in Loki season 1
Yeah,
with Hunter B15 and her past. I
yeah.
want to see more of that for other people. So
The thing
I
is
think
that
I think everyone should have gone and joined, taken the life on the
I just
timeline.
think I just think
They're all victims. Every single person in the TVA is a victim, apart from the actual person at the head of it. So nothing that they do is wrong.
yeah. I
I'm not
just
gonna,
feel
you're not
like
gonna catch me victim blaming.
oh boy, I just felt
Mm.
like at least one of them should have gone with Brad. Like I don't know. Did he have? Didn't he have friends? Did he even have? Like he was supposed to be like a great hunter. Surely someone there is like his fanboy. It's like, oh, if Brad's doing it, I'm doing it, or
I mean, they
something.
get their memories wiped every single time, so
Yeah, but it
I
makes
don't
them
know.
all feel like the cult of dogs, basically, and that's what I didn't like.
Mm, but surely that's a very, very poorly done commentary on systems and hierarchy and power and whatever. But at the end of the day, I didn't really care. I didn't care when they died. I had no connection to them, and the only one that we did have connections to, decided to live. So, nah, I don't really care about them.
Fair
Fair,
enough.
fair
And then
enough.
that's also
They
the
could
other
have died.
thing.
It could have been 50 minutes of them dying, and I would have loved every second of it because I just have no connection to these people.
All right, all right, all
Mm.
right. we don't. We should say that we do care about. It's not only people we have connections to that we care about them dying.
You don't speak for me.
Yeah,
You don't
this
speak.
is
You don't speak
Omo.
for
I'm
me.
speaking for the podcast, by the
Okay, cool, cool,
way.
cool. Because I've built a brand about be around being mean to people I don't have connections to. So
Okay, cool,
yeah,
cool, cool, cool.
I haven't actually. I
I
haven't
think
actually.
the other on that thing with connections, it's like what we were saying in episode one when I think Emmanuel you mentioned it like so this is their plot, this is Doc's plan, and it all just ends so quickly. And I was saying
Yeah.
I hope at least that there has to be more to it, and the more to it is literally 5 minutes of death. Like
Yeah, yeah. I think I don't know. I mean,
I
it
would have
makes sense
liked to see.
because.
I wanted to
Sorry,
see a
go on.
Zaniac trailer. I want to see a Zaniac trailer for the start of the next episode. Have that be the cold open, or
I
have it
feel
be like
like
the
we'll
end.
get. I feel like we'll get that eventually. Was it Hawkeye where we had the musical of the
Don't
Avengers?
talk to me
yeah,
about the stupid musical.
I love the musical. What are you on
Oh, I
about?
mean, no. Hawkeye is a giant L by itself anyway, and then to stick a musical as a post-credit scene. Don't piss me off.
You heard it here first. If there's ever a Hawkeye podcast, we're not getting Mo on.
Yeah, no, you get me on there, and I will rant for what, an hour and a half, maybe, and about how bad Hawkeye is. I
You're
made a
so
tweet
wild, man. I
like,
liked that show.
oh,
I
that's the wrong
mean, I
opinion.
had zero expectations on it, so I think I was just in for like the
Man
ride.
said that's the wrong opinion.
I'm so dead. No, because like I
Like,
don't rate Hawkeye, right? But like it was, I went away from that show being more impressed with Hawkeye than I ever was. Let's just put it that way.
No, that show just confirmed that I'm right all the time because that show was an L. The character is an L. He's got
Kingpin
no presence.
was shocking.
Kingpin was terrible, and
Yeah.
I would say that it is one of the worst shows I've seen ever in my life.
Well,
Oh
so
boy.
are you saying it's the worst Disney Plus show so far?
Hell
Oh
no.
no,
We saw
no.
Secret
Exactly.
Invasion.
Yeah.
Secret Invasion. But I watch a lot of TV, and for two Marvel shows to be like in the worst shows that I've ever seen. Although
Listen.
I did also, I wouldn't put too much stock in my opinion because I also really did like Velma. So the HBO Max show on
Fair
Velma.
enough.
Yeah,
I've
I
only
couldn't
heard
make it
bad
past five
things. I
minutes.
haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I've
I
heard
yeah,
couldn't
bad
make it past
things.
5 minutes.
I'm, it's actually a really fun mystery if you get past the Mindy Kaling of it all. But
Oh,
to Hawkeye or to Marvel in general, no. They
fair.
need to tidy things up. Kind of use the next two episodes and really just focus on trying to finish the story that they're trying to tell. But I do want to see
Fair.
A Zaniac
Trailer.
trailer.
Okay, maybe we'll get that
Interesting.
online or something.
We're not gonna get it
Probably, yeah.
online. They should just do some fun shit like that. They got the budget to be able to do it. They didn't do any reshoots.
True,
So
true, but
Hmm.
it's the
whatevs.
Marvel machine, you know.
Speaking of,
That
actually,
save budget is probably going into 4 5 or something.
yeah. Well, I want to actually say about Werewolf by Night. This is going to be like a slight sidetrack, but this episode is coming out on Halloween, right? Isn't it? So
Oh,
on the 31st.
oh
So
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Werewolf by Night in color. Don't watch it. Don't waste your time. It's so shit. Like it takes away like Werewolf by Night itself by itself wasn't that great. The only thing it had
I
going
never
for
saw
it,
it. Like I was about to watch it, and then everyone just crapped on it. So
Oh
well,
no.
the
yeah,
only thing it's got going for it is the fact that it's in black and white, and then they took that away from it. But it's anyway. That's
I add the
whatever.
Werewolf by Night to the things we won't be reviewing with Mo.
Oh no, add it to the thing to the list of things that you do want to review. But we've gone off track anyway.
Right,
Very, but it's okay.
back to Loki. Back to Loki. The next big thing we have in the episode is in the pie room, pie land, whatever.
Mm.
Loki and Sylvie have this conversation.
Cafeteria.
I- Someone calls it pie land. Sylvie does, yeah. Sylvie does. I didn't just come up with that, yeah.
Yeah, she
But yeah,
did.
Oh, okay.
in pie land, where funny enough, if you look inside, like I think all those pies are variants of the same pie. Like they're literally just like very slight weird differences. Like, oh, this one has a the white frosting is in a different shape or whatever, and it's just literally very small differences. I don't know. I
Also known
got.
as slices.
I mean, the slice. That's the thing. They're all same slice, but like just very different. I don't know what it is. Just slight differences between all of them.
Have you ever seen a sliced cake? Like typically all the pieces do look the same, just with slight differences. That's that is typically what
No,
happens with.
you don't get what I mean. What I mean is like I feel like they're the same. Like you know when you slice a cake, like each
It's the exact
slice
same
comes from a
slice.
particular part. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the exact same piece of the cake, but like there's just a little difference in like the design or something of each of them. If that makes
Right.
I
sense.
get you. I didn't pay attention to that
I
much
didn't pay
detail, but I
attention,
get you.
so I'm being
I was starving, so yeah.
No, but that's another
me too.
example of one of those places where there was still comedy in the episode because, like, yeah, go get
But yeah,
pie, and she ends up in Pieland.
but yeah, we have that conversation between them, and she's talking about how she could kill He Who Remains because she didn't see fit or she didn't notice it, and then she couldn't with Victor Timely, and then talking about what they want to do with the TVA. Do they want to play God? Loki saying we are gods. Talking about basically talking about like how sparing someone's life isn't weakness, and anytime we get Loki talking about like the first Thor movie, which I will always defend is not as bad as people say. Um, I kind of like, going back to that kind of stuff. What do we think about this conversation in general? Do we think there's some sort of foreshadowing in here? Are we on Loki's side or Sylvie's side, where she's not sure if she did the right thing or not? Jeremiah, what do you think?
I think it's very reflective of once again the differences between Loki and Sylvie. Sylvie got there was an attempt to prune Sylvie, and her timeline was pruned when she was a child. So presumably, she doesn't have the same history of trying to establish herself as a god that
Hmm.
Loki has. Instead, she has this innate need to get rid of those who would not let people be, i.e., the TVA, because that's what her experience has predominantly been. What I put down in my note at the time was it's very interesting to see um, that we are God's conversation specifically for Loki because yeah, Loki has been that character that's had that chip on his shoulder right since the first
Hmm.
Thor to prove that he's just as much a god as everyone else and someone somewhere will serve him. If Asgard wouldn't serve him, Midgard will. If Midgard doesn't, then he will go back to Asgard and pretend to be Odin and they will serve him. Something will happen. But now, with everything that's happened, and I know it's not the same Loki, even if he has seen that Loki's like pathway and everything, and he's gone through his own thing. This Loki is saying, It's almost kind of like reluctantly saying, "Well, I mean, I'm a god anyway, so I might as well do the hard thing," which is just
Hmm.
such a turnaround for his character. And I thought that was really big, and I loved it. On Sylvie's side of things, just I guess we skipped out the point where she's calling out Mobius because she's so frustrated with everything. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
these
We talk about that. Yeah, this is all together.
yeah,
Huh?
these people are the like she hates what the TVA is, and like Banky was saying last episode, she probably almost realized that even by killing um Kang, or well, Timely in this case, she would be the TVA.
Hmm.
And she didn't see that he was the same person as He Who Remains. Like Loki literally calls her out and like, you said you would kill them when they showed up, you didn't kill this one. And she still doesn't even have an explanation. Like even when she's like, maybe I didn't notice, like you said, it's like almost there's a sense of maybe I've been too focused down this path, like
On revenge.
that
Yeah.
she's not sure if maybe she's at fault by killing him. Maybe she did the wrong thing. Um, I think there was something else in her calling out movies as well. Like everyone at the TVA is treating the timelines like just that, lines on the screen. That scene at the end of episode one where everyone is sad because Docs has just bombed so many timelines is the first time that the TVA is showing any sort of care for the
Hmm.
people on like living. And Sylvie is someone who has spent her life living on those timelines. So she feels a deeper connection, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't think that the rest of the TVA does as well. So her being here is an effort to protect those timelines and work with the people that she also still thinks are responsible for those timelines being in danger. And that frustration is just boiling out in every conversation in this episode. So much so that I mean, Mobius is pretty. He's so distant from this moment on because she calls him out like, you found out you were a variant, and you're too scared to even go and see how real your life is. You're happy to just stay, just like what we're saying. Mobius's way of processing is to stay with what he knows,
Hmm.
and but like if you do that, then you have the comfort of not realizing the gravity of the situation. So I thought like there were so many conversations this episode, particularly with Sylvie, that were just like these are so layered, and I love them so much because we're really seeing the depth of feeling that all these characters are getting. Even if we only have six
Yeah.
episodes, we understand everything they're going through. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, and yeah, it's really fascinating, especially when you come back to the fact that Loki and Sylvie are supposed to be the same person almost, but like the more and more we get to know, it's almost like two sides of the same coin. You know,
Mhm.
it's like it's not, yeah, it's not as clear cut as it was before, and it's just like talking about what they want to do going forward. And I think this was the first time I really felt a lot of like growth for Loki, and I think I said in a previous episode of like sometimes in this show, I feel like why does this have to be Loki? Like it could literally be any other character running around in the TVA and stuff. But again, like stuff like this makes me understand like, okay, this is why it's his kind of hero's journey and stuff like that. Like this is almost like him getting to, and I imagine this is how Loki himself processes it of like, this is a chance for him to be a god, but in like a different way, like not just get the worship and stuff from people, but actually earn it and do the right thing
Mm.
and all these types of things and like almost redeem himself. And when you think about the fact that the creators of the show talk about like their aim is to reunite Thor and Loki, and I just thought about it today, like from the last time that this Loki, for example, the last time we saw Thor was literally in the Avengers. Like to think of how differently their lives have gone since that point. Thor even has like an adopted daughter at this point, which kind of mirrors the fact that Loki was adopted as well from like one of their
Mm.
father's greatest enemies and stuff. And it's just like it was just the time for me to like sit back and be like, oh wow, like these characters have really grown like in the MCU and stuff. Um, but yeah, Mo, what did you make of the whole Sylvie Loki chat and everything?
I loved it. I thought it was some of the best writing in the MCU just because of how heavy it was on themes,
Mm.
and
Hmm.
it was the first kind of time when you really felt that these people who proclaim that they are gods, instead of just like actually screaming that they're gods, show just how much power that they actually have in a moment. And when they got rid of the thing stopping magic from being used. Oh, sorry, my AirPods just went crazy. Uh, when they got
It's
rid
fine.
of the thing that stops magic from being used inside the TVA, then it's I think it just lets them be as godly as they can be, which I thought was an interesting approach, and I hope that they kind of commit to it for the rest of the show because I'd like to see them. There was a shot in that first Loki trailer for season one
Hmm.
that had Loki sitting on a throne in Asgard,
Yeah.
and that was not seen. So I
Hmm.
wonder if we're gonna get that if we're gonna get that scene in this.
Wasn't that like
In,
wasn't that like from a deleted scene of like For the Dark World?
I
Something
don't
like that.
know that it was. I don't know that it was. I think it was just some like they for some reason showed it in the trailer and it just never came up. So I think that they're gonna try and
Of
maybe
season one or
recreate the
season two?
season one.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
showed him having a crown ruling over Asgard.
Mm.
So
Oh
if they
yeah.
commit
Mm.
to the whole thing of them being gods, it would be interesting to see Loki have all of that power and whatnot. But I
Mm.
got nothing.
Yeah, no. Like again, it's interesting when like Loki brings up the four part and you compare them as well. Like four created like New Asgard, which is like a village basically in Norway, and then this is Loki trying to do like the most techie kind of thing, like save the future and the past and timelines and all these kind of things, and Four is just trying to live. It's weird. Like Four has gone for like living the simple life, and then Loki has gone for like the grandiose like mission, if that makes sense. Because this is technically more important than anything Four has had to do.
Mm.
So yeah, it's just mad seeing that juxtaposition as well.
Just to say, because I guess I want to echo Mo. Just it was just something, just when you use the word heavy, I think we should really probably praise the writers in this episode. Like you were saying, that scene, the dialogue in that scene is heavy. And I remember in my notes I literally wrote, there's so much for this, there's so much for Sylvie in this episode. It's heavy. And it's like, if that can come across for multiple people viewing the same scenes, I think that's like a really good job done by the directors and the writers, the actors, everybody involved in those scenes in that episode. They've very clearly communicated what it is they're trying to on the same episode. Yeah.
Couldn't have said
Big
it
up
better.
Eric Martin. If you check the chat, I've just sent you a tweet that he tweeted, which is thanks for all the episode 4 love, but buckle up because I think 5 and 6 are the best of the series.
Fair
I
enough.
mean, of course he'd say that, but I kind of trust I kind of trust what he's saying here because
Here we go again. Remember how we started this episode? We didn't want our expectations high.
Oh
I
yeah, I
know.
forgot to say something. When we were talking
Go on.
about Ouroboros being the villain, um, I'm just like, the parallels are very clearly there with Ralph Boner also being Mephisto. Like, at the end of it,
No,
let's just put
no,
it
I
out
didn't want to
there.
be
no,
the one. I didn't want to
Let's
be
just
the
put it
one.
out
no,
there that there could be
no.
nothing.
I didn't want to be the one.
I mean, we
This.
already know who Mephisto is, so
Oh boy. Here we go.
no. I'm sorry. Do you guys not know? Is this not a thing? They've
Oh
already
man,
cast
listen.
Mephisto. They've already
Oh yeah,
cast
yeah.
Mephisto.
They cast Mephisto. Yeah, yeah. But that was like a rumor. Like we don't know if
No,
it's
that's
they're still
I don't
gonna go
even
ahead
know.
with it.
it's 100% confirmed. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Right.
they
Okay.
they they got him. Also, I feel like Ironheart's been delayed for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, maybe it would be crazy if they actually get Sacha Baron Cohen coming in as the post-credit scene for episode 5.
Okay. Imagine.
But do you reckon we're going to see the Void again?
I think we have
And
to because yeah,
yeah,
that's what I was saying. Because Renslayer gets pruned. The other hunter, what's his name? B90? Or, I don't know, F90 or something. Yeah, the one that goes with Victor
the
Timely
coffee
when he's
guy.
getting the hot cocoa.
Hot chocolate.
No, he says the hot cocoa
Yeah.
Hot,
specifically.
hot.
He
Oh
makes a
God!
point
You
to
know
say
what?
You know,
that.
on that as well.
When
In
this
the
minute's
season finale
stuttering.
of season one, right? was
Hmm.
what's his name? Was he who remains drinking coffee?
It
Probably
was
tea.
tea, I believe. Tea, I
Oh,
Yeah.
believe.
okay. Because when I saw that and he was like, "What is that?" I thought
Oh, you thought he liked it
I was
again.
like, "Wait, like did Mobius did Mobius put him on? Like, is this why he likes tea or coffee or whatever?" Like, I was like, "I
I mean,
must have this machine."
it's hot. It's hot. It's hot cocoa. It's not. It's not. It's not.
Fair enough.
It's not this
Did they
thing.
have
Yeah.
coffee in the 19th century yet? Like, as in with obviously they didn't have the machine, but like, did
I think
had
they
they
did,
used
but
hot
like,
had they turned hot cocoa into coffee then?
I think he
By
sounded
they, do
like
you
he.
mean
I mean, like scientists in
Oh
general,
boy,
not
here we
like
go.
human
scientists?
Another
being, like
race.
human
Scientists?
be
Another race
Sci-
conversation.
No, it's another game. It's a weekly segment now. Is it racist?
Oh God,
Who are they?
Who are
Who are
they?
they?
I didn't even
Where did
realize you
they
were
get?
going there.
Where did they get the coffee from?
I didn't even realize you were going there. I was really thinking like,
I
should
knew
I
you
Where?
were
say
going
should
there.
I
I saw the glitz
farmers?
in his
Should I
eyes
say
immediately.
scientists? I wasn't
a
even
game of
sure
a
where you were
game
going
of
with that
is it
one.
racist? No, no. I'm fairly sure they've had coffee for a long time.
Yeah, no, I think because like the
I mean,
tea has been there for
we've had
centuries,
coffee
right?
for a while, but I don't know about
Oh
them.
man.
I don't know
Yeah.
about 1800 Chicago.
Right, right. But yeah, I
We've
feel
had
like bringing it back. Like I feel like we had that guy get pruned. We had Ravona get pruned. So I
Mm.
feel like we definitely at some way I feel like we have to revisit them. But yeah, that's kind of the wrap up to the whole thing. They reboot the system. Miss Minutes is locked out. The Lokis have magic again, so they can enchant X5 to prune Ravona. Miss Minutes goes back to being a clock. Before that, she does deliver a burn of like it's so weird. Like she's literally like every like nasty X stereotype ever. Just like, oh, you'll never be him. Like, come on, like, okay, does that make you feel better now that you're a clock? Like, really? But we get all of that, and then yeah, that's basically the whole sort of resolution to, I guess, Ravona and Miss Minutes' evil spree, at least for now. We obviously get the closed loop of episode one. But yeah, what do you guys think about that whole sort of wrap up? And yeah,
I
and do you
will
think we're
say
gonna see these guys again?
I will say, given everything that's happened the last 3 weeks, I'm so glad that we don't have to worry about Tara Strong and Jonathan Majors coming up in the show anymore, and we can enjoy the we can enjoy the rest of the episode.
Do you know that we don't?
I'm going in with the expectation that we don't.
There
Fair
we go,
enough.
Miss
Because
Minutes
at the end of
variant.
the day, Miss Minutes was just rebooted.
Yeah, she's
Like,
rebooted, but she's a clock, and He Who Remains was the person that turned her into the people that control the
I mean,
TVA are
he
the
let
people
her
that.
write. Yeah, he let her write her own programming to
Yeah,
become
yeah.
like
He
sentient and
but he
stuff.
like
But she
allowed her
started
to
out
do
as a
it.
clock.
yeah, but are
Yeah,
we saying that like all her experiences have been
They're just
wiped
gone. She's back
out?
to being a clock now. Like she's just
yeah.
back
Or
to being a clock.
the or in
Version
my
1.0.
the way I saw it was more like it's like turning off the computer and turning it back on. Whatever AI still exists. It's just she's off. She can't access anything for now because she's
Yeah,
offline.
but the whole
The way I
TVA's
got
just been exploded. So if you
yeah, and
burn the server room,
Yeah.
no, but before that, the way I got it as well was like Miss Minutes did all of that stuff, like made herself amazing or whatever, but didn't save. So like Ouroboros just
But why would she?
press restart. Basically,
Fair
I
enough.
think
Like that would be like the
that's
biggest
what it
yeah,
rookie
was.
mistake.
I think that's what it was trying to convey.
First. But I wrote
But
what I wrote down
yeah, go
was
on.
because we were talking about them being techies at this point. It was like Miss Minute still has admin privileges, and now we have a rogue dev just destroying the entire organization.
yeah,
Like she just blocking every. You fired me, cool. I'll block everyone out. You need me anyway.
yeah. But then the CEO's brother just
He's
like
like, just delete the entire server and start again.
pretty much, yeah, he burned the place down. So I don't know. Is it going to be worth being alive? If
Right.
is
No.
is life worth living if there's no place to go to? That's a question for the audience.
Oh
Oh.
man, like this is trippy.
But yeah, to answer your question, yes, we'll definitely go back to the void at some point. The question is, are we
Okay,
going to see
cool.
Crocodile Loki again, or is he dead?
I want to see
Kid
Frog
Loki.
Thor.
Oh yeah, I want to see him.
I
I
want to
want to
see
see him
Frog Thor.
with his little Mjolnir as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, trying to think what else did we have. So yeah, so Loki got pruned, and yeah, we get to. I was going to ask actually. It's a bit of a poison chalice, but what did we make of Jonathan Major's performance in this episode, especially compared to last?
He was really funny when Miss Minute started like stuttering, and then he said, "Well, you don't have to be mean." That was it. I can't
I'm
remember
trying to
his
see if I,
exact words, but it was like,
I'm trying to see if I wrote down exactly what he said, but I know it like it cracks me up. I think he said something around, "Oh, you don't need to, you don't need, you don't need to mock me" or something like that. But
yeah,
yeah,
something along those lines. But yeah, so I thought that was funny. Um, the whole kind of like childish thing, the innocent thing that he's trying to
Mm.
put across. I'm not buying any of it. Maybe it's just because I'm a bit meh on Majors himself,
in general,
but and also because I feel like he did a very similar performance with He Who Remains. So I don't see it too much as like proto He Who Remains as much as it was like what was it like discount like bargain bin Aldi He Who Remains. Aldi He Who Remains is called He Who Stays.
oh boy, it doesn't.
Cuthbert.
He
It's a
didn't
This
stay.
Cuthbert.
one didn't
Spoilers.
stay.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
He didn't stay.
I
Unless
mean, I tweeted out a GIF of spaghetti last night. I was like, I was like,
If you know, you know. But yeah,
yeah.
Jerry,
absolutely.
what did you think of his performance?
I think
Because if I
if
remember
you
correctly,
ask,
you liked his performance last week, right?
yeah, like I
Yeah,
liked it
yeah.
because, like, again, we were being introduced to a new character, and
Mm-hmm.
I think this just feels like he was saying, this kind of feels like a continuation. This time he's now in the TVA. He's out of his domain. He's now observing and learning, but he still gets to squeal. He still gets to react. He still gets to realize that he's now being captured by Renslayer and Miss Minutes again, and he's like, right, I'm sorry, and things like, oh, just him being funny was one thing, but I think at the same time, ooh, what was I about to say that I completely forgot? I like the performance. Let me just put it that way. When it comes back to my mind, I'll bring it back up. Um,
Mm.
but I think, oh yeah, now I remember. It was that Coco scene. I think maybe because I'm still reading into this. Obviously, by the end of the episode, I'm
Mm-hmm.
realizing seeing spaghetti. I'm like, maybe not. But unless, of course, we're still being conned. But assuming we were being conned by Victor Timely, they did enough, and he as himself did enough to prompt you into questioning what if he has ulterior motives, because he comes
Mm-hmm.
into the TVA, he's looking around, he distracts everyone by asking specifically to go for hot cocoa, and then while he's there, he just stares almost menacingly before he now like he's like it's just everything's happy, like he's still the goofy Victor Timely, but right there in that moment you're thinking, is this where he reveals that, ooh, he's actually had a plan all along? Even when he says it has to be me, you're thinking, is there a reason you brought your device and it has to be you? Like, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
still, because of things like that, you still question. I guess now I'm kind of merging Victor Timely's motivations with Jonathan Major's performance, but the truth is, his performance does elevate the questioning of Victor Timely's motivations. You're thinking, is this where he reveals his ultimate plan to become spaghetti? Um, because that shocks everyone. Like, no matter who you are or whether you think he's a good guy or a bad guy.
Can I just say his ultimate plan to become pasta to become spaghetti? What what
No,
sort
but
of
you'll be
a
thinking
plan
his
that takes
ultimate
100
plan,
years in the making to become spaghetti?
but then he becomes spaghetti, and you think, okay, so clearly this is not the same variant that is, or again, this is a time remnant, or this is not the same variant that is He Who Remains. This is another Kang variant that this guy has used to do something. What has he done? Who knows? Because at the end of the day, do we know that like that temporal radiation killed him and didn't just prune him? We don't know. We let's not. We can get to that, but that's the point I'm making. Like, his performance does enough to keep you still questioning, even up to the moment of
Mm-hmm.
his death, and that's why I think it was good.
Well, he's a con man. So
Exactly. Yep.
but also any excuse to not see him on screen anymore. I wouldn't mind it if they just said, I wouldn't mind it if they just said F it and had Ouroboros become the new Kang and then have the Kang dynasty be around Kyuho Kwon. Just have that.
Ah, I've seen
I
this
think you
theory. I
have
just feel like they wouldn't do that. I feel like if they wanted to recast, you'd probably just get, I don't know, John Boyega or
John
someone.
Boyega.
Like just
Oh no.
like
Everyone just uses that.
Not John
sorry,
Boyega.
it's just like I just mean basically like they'll try and keep, I guess, the look and the age and stuff kind of the same, if that makes sense.
Well, I don't know.
Um,
My suggestion is that they never really answer the whole thing in the comics of who Kang is related to, and so they
Mm,
could just have it not be tied to anybody, and have Kang be like an identity, an idea rather than an
mm,
individual person.
so like
But
a
also,
title.
yeah, but also, I remember back in the days of like pre-Endgame when everyone was speculating about what was going on, and there were like 50 billion leaks a day on Reddit about
Reddit is crazy.
what's going to happen in Endgame. And I remember one of the theories was that Tony Stark winds up becoming Kang the Conqueror.
Oh boy.
I remember that.
no
I'll see if I
way.
can find the theory of the leak. I'll see if I can find the leak and send it to you. But I just
Ooh.
remember thinking like that would be crazy. That would be funny. But now what I think is actually going to happen is that Kang, the idea of Kang, is just going to be passed down. If they've got rid of every potential He Who Remains, Jonathan Majors, Nathaniel Richards version, then it could just be. But then again, they've really committed to Jonathan Majors, so whatevs,
Yeah.
whatevs.
I think unless there's like out and out like arrest or like sentencing, I think it's Jonathan Majors. I think they've just committed to all Kangs being Jonathan Majors and stuff. But yeah, for me, this episode's
Unless
performance was
it's
better.
unless it's Ramona.
Oh boy. Yeah, of course, that theory stays. But the same way almost all variants as Tom Hiddleston, there's some that might not be. Um, that might be a way to get out. Like if they want to recast Jonathan Majors, Google Buffalo is free. But yeah,
She's great.
um,
She's great.
so that being said, I thought yeah, this episode's performance was better than last. It was a bit less distracting, and I think yeah, he did find that balance of like because with this kind of stuff, you have to have that little bit of tension of like he might still turn evil or whatever. Like if it's just like happy go lucky all through, you know, you lose that edge in the episode basically. Like the Coco scene and things like that, you need a bit of tension with that. Otherwise, it's just a guy going to get Coco. Like why? Why is it really a plot point? Um, but yeah, you know, I thought it was fine. I didn't, like I said, most of the things, the problems I had, I mentioned in the last episode. I wasn't really the biggest fan of all the kind of acting choices and the childish kind of innocence, like Mo said as
Mm.
well. But it is what it is. It didn't take me out of the episode, but yeah. Right, let's get to the ending. Spaghetti Gates. What happened? Like,
Yeah, he
basically,
dead.
obviously, for in terms of a recap, we get to the point. Someone has to go outside, put on the suit. For some reason, the loom is like I don't know nanotech or something, where you just throw stuff at it and it absorbs it. But like that's literally how they try and fix stuff with the loom, and they're gonna throw the what's it called, the quantum, I don't know, whatever the doohickey is. But yeah, I forgot the name of it. They're gonna throw it in, make the rings bigger. X Y Z.
Oh, the super
Loki said,
multiplier.
Oh yeah, just like
I
that's
thought
such
you
an
were.
easy word to remember.
I thought you were talking about the thing that he put the super multiplier in.
there's a lot of doohickeys going on, but yeah,
They're so they're just inventing things, and you're saying it like it's like everyone should know what it is. This
I
stuff only
mean,
entered my lexicon yesterday. I,
fair enough. Throughput makes sense to me, and then it
throughput makes
multiplies
sense. But
throughput.
like
So I was just like, yeah, that
that's
that
the
that,
thing.
that
But like
works. Let's
if you want to
switch up
get
our
techie,
brains
you
and keep
should
going.
never call it a. You should call it an amplifier, not a multiplier.
There you
But
go. But like, it
that's
works.
that's
So like,
that's.
let's just put our brains to at
But yeah,
rest.
the throughput multiplier and the thing they want to throw it. Loki thinks it should be him for pretty much no other reason than it's his show, apart as far as I can gather. But Victor Timely says it should be him. He gives the explanation if something goes wrong. Um, and then it's, this whole thing, he's going to go out. And I think this works really well again because in episode one, we've seen Mobius go and be successful and come back. And
Mm.
yeah, Victor Timely steps out, turns to spaghetti. The whole thing explodes. We see Tom Hiddleston's really nice green eyes. Kaboom. What
I want to
next?
also say I love the use of lighting in this show because
Hmm.
that those scenes I remember, and I don't know if it was just because I was like when I was watching it for the first
Under the
time.
influence.
I was not under any influence. There was no influence. Yeah, I don't know if it was if I just found it amazing because I was allegedly under the influence. But
Allegedly.
allegedly, according to me. But I remember
Allegedly,
thinking,
you're
oh
on.
my God, the lighting in this is really, really good because it actually feels like there's a real blinding light
Hmm.
that's being shown there. And I thought that that was just a really, really fun touch because so much of the MCU is kept in very, very safe lighting conditions. They don't
Yep.
really experiment, play around with just simple stuff like exposure and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As far as the cinematography goes. So I thought that that scene itself, how it all kind of everything came to a head, and the kind of use of lighting throughout that whole sequence, just getting brighter and brighter and brighter, was just I thought it was really good. It was zero notes on that.
Yeah. No, that was perfect, honestly. Like,
Mm.
yeah. Just everything about the moment, the score swelling up, the actual explosion, like the CGI and stuff. It was amazing. Um, but yeah, like Jeremiah, I'm gonna go to you with this. Where do we go from here? Basically,
I don't know, and that's what I called it. I called it the most frustrating cliffhanger ever because like it's almost like you should have known it was coming, but like
hmm
you're so into the story that you
hmm
forget the episode is about to end, and then they sit like they let you sit enough with the black screen to really deep that's what just happened, and you actually have to wait to see it. And as of correct me if I'm wrong, as of this moment, all the people who got screeners have only seen up
yeah,
to
no
here
one has
as
seen
well.
past that.
So like everyone has to sit in the realization of what just happened, and I love that. And that's why I kind of agreed with you when you said it feels like a season finale. I feel like the whole idea around everybody who has seen this up to this point is like we have watched a story
Yeah,
conclude, but we don't know what that means just yet. But to me, that just feels more like a mid-season finale than but it's not the middle of the season, obviously. But
yeah.
um, I get that, and yeah, I had no idea. I don't know where they're going. Obviously, I tried to read people's theories and see, and people are talking about the fact that in the trailer, and I realized I guess I didn't really watch the trailer of season two until like when we were doing the episode 2 or 3 episode. That's when I actually properly
hmm
watched the trailer. Um, there are scenes that Loki time slips into that we haven't seen yet. So people theorize that all the characters are going to start time slipping. I don't know if that's true or what we're going to see is maybe another variant of another variant because more of time slipping Loki. We'll see more of time slipping Loki's escapades. My initial thought originally was it would be very nice if similar to Infinity War and Endgame, these characters actually did die and we as viewers feel the gravity of that situation knowing fully well that the Loki and Mobius and everyone else we watch going forward was a slightly different one that maybe took a slightly different turn maybe a couple days ago, for instance. So they're still
hmm
similar enough to our original ones that we've been following, but we have to experience the death of those characters. Just time slipping kind of, it's like
mm.
the nuclear reactor just melted down and exploded and everybody survived. There's something about that that just feels a bit
Yeah, no, I get you.
yeah. But I'm excited to see what they start doing, which is also why I'm like, if if the because we've talked a lot about the whole Ouroboros and his domain being like server room. We've made parallels to IT
hmm
and blah blah, but we haven't really talked not enough about the fact that this feels like a nuclear power plant and a bomb is about to go off. Or maybe not a bomb, but like everything's about to explode.
A
Um,
reactor.
if that radiation was enough to kill Victor Timely, why do we believe that that same radiation from an explosion in the same nuclear reactor didn't also kill the other characters?
Because it's all Ouroboros' plan. He's the one that controls the suits. He's telling them all the precautions that they need to take. Also, Timely didn't have any duct tape on him. So,
You know what?
Wasn't
So
duct tape
you
when there was a
mentioned
crack?
hey,
I thought the duct tape was only because there was a crack on the
I
suit and
know, I
Mobius
know,
was
I
there.
know, I know, but I think it's magical special duct tape that protects him.
Oh
I think
boy.
that the
no, but
I'm
you
not I
mentioned that
you see
maybe as
you say I'm crazy. Come to me in a week and we'll see and we'll
no, because
see.
you mentioned that as a joke, right? You might mention that seriously as a joke, but here's the thing:
I mean it
when I
fully
watched that,
seriously.
I felt like
Nothing I say is a joke.
I felt like they showed us the suit for a reason. Because remember, like when Obi and Victor are talking about, was it no? It was Obi and Mobius. They're talking about the whole plan. Casey just randomly picks up the throughput multiplier, goes down, and then when everyone comes, Casey's like, right, the throughput multiplier is down there. So in my head, I'm thinking, what has Casey done? And then when I
Exactly.
was watching it the second time, when everything went wrong, everyone was like, Hunter B-15 is like, what did we do wrong? And then no one's blaming Casey at this point. But Casey's like, I don't know. It wasn't me. But why do you say that? Like, what
Okay,
is
Casey's on
going
fraud watch.
on? What is going on here?
Casey's Casey's on fraud watch.
Which
okay.
is
So
why I was like,
now,
oh,
I,
but this is why I was like, if Ouroboros is the villain, then maybe he made Casey look like the villain. Or maybe Casey is the villain.
hmm,
But again, I still don't think it's either of them. Like, I don't. At that point, I was thinking, Casey, what did you do? Because he looked so distressed while they were talking. Then he just picked it up, and then he just said, "Yeah, it's in there. So you go down there and do it." And then, right before Victor Timely goes as well, Obi goes with him, and he's like, he repeats the plan, tells him exactly what to do, and then as soon as he opens the door, he just spaghettifies or whatever, and everyone is like
What a word.
shocked, like
it's a real word. It's a real word.
yeah,
Yeah,
and everyone is
I know, but
shocked.
it just kills me spaghettified.
Everyone is shocked, and it's like if there's any strength to the idea that Casey or Obi is a villain, that's the scene right there that would confirm it for me. Which is why I'm like, when you say the duct tape, I don't know if you meant it seriously as a joke, but there's credit to that in my opinion because something
Yeah, no,
happened.
I mean it seriously. I think that this writing team, this creative team, is incredibly
Hmm.
confident and intentional with what they're doing.
Hmm.
And I think that small little stuff, small little details and things like that. Like I haven't found, and I scanned these episodes when I watched them for like any production issues that I can be
Plot
like,
holes and stuff. Yeah.
not just production issues, like like a Starbucks cup or something like that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you remember that?
Yeah, like a
Oh
Starbucks cup,
god.
and there's none of that. So the attention to detail in the show, I think, is really fantastic. And also, the pre-production for this started 2 years ago.
Hmm.
They were doing the writing for it, and they had a solid script and everything like that, and it was all filming. And again, no reshoots, which is insane for a Marvel project. Like
Hmm.
Marvel now, the reason they announce things so far in advance is because they'll film it maybe a
There's no
year after
time for
they announce
reshoots.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
but they plan for reshoots. Um, so I think it's like the fact that this had none means that
Mm.
they had a very, very solid story going into it and they know where they want to end up. So I think small details like the duct tape, I don't think I think it's good when things have a dual purpose. It's
yeah.
comedic, but it's also used for dramatic effect later down the
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
So
and we've seen examples of that. You know, for example, Mobius talking about in episode one or two, and it's talking in one, I think. Yeah, and it's talking about the skin getting peeled off. It's comedic when he writes skin question mark, but then later on that helps us know that Loki's in the future. The reason I laughed is just that, like, what has Marvel turned us into that we're now theorizing about duct tape? That's just literally like, what has my life become at that point? I just had that kind of crisis moment of like, I'm really, on a podcast episode and
Mm,
we're thinking the duct tape is the answer. But yeah, no, like, the reason why I said this felt like a season finale is like, there was no like obvious thread, you know, like there's nothing like, say Renslayer and Miss Minutes were still like out there doing something. We're like, okay, what's happened with them? Maybe they're gonna reboot something or whatever.
mm.
but for all intents and purposes, like everybody that we've been following this season is fried, like fried. Um, and it's like, what is gonna happen here? Are we just gonna reset to whatever like Loki season one was? Are we gonna reset to the beginning of this season? Is everyone just gone? Um, it's a blank slate, and as much as I'm excited, I'm a bit worried as well because it's like, okay, you've done this whole build up for 4 episodes and you basically clean slate. So what are we gonna get for the last two? You know, that kind of feeling of like, hopefully, it it all comes together well. But like I said,
Mm.
or like we said, you've got to trust this creative team. Um, but I think it's just one of like me watching too many comic book stuff and just getting that little chilling thing in the back of my mind of like, oh, what if they just fuck it up from here? Um,
Well, I
I
mean,
also
the
I
only
think
way that they could fuck it up is if the last two episodes are actually Rogers the musical.
oh god.
Everyone,
But
I would take I
I
would, I
think
would take Zaniac over Rogers the musical.
I think Jeremiah mentioned it as well. Like, there's the Infinity War kind of endgame aspect of this. Of like, I guess the first 4 episodes are kind of like Infinity War, and then
Mm.
we're gonna get the end game of like dealing with the repercussions and stuff like
And
that.
that's why I
I'm
feel like it will be that, like, picking up. They can't like if you, when you said it's like a season finale. If this was one season on its own, I'll probably be very upset because nothing happened. I mean, a lot happened, but it would feel like the big thing didn't happen, you know. But picking up on that, picking up from the scraps of whatever explosion just happened, and continuing with that as a solid canon event would be important to
Mhm.
them getting it right.
Yeah, I agree. It
Not just
shouldn't it
yeah.
shouldn't be trivialized. Like, what we saw should matter. Mo.
Uh, I have a question. Now that we've got through, I would say, the main plot, do you think we're gonna have any cameos? The big C word? Do you reckon we're gonna have any cameos for the
I
upcoming?
th- I th- I think, especially like if we go back into the void with Renslayer and stuff, I think we'll get a few in there.
I hope we get a Fox cameo, a Fox character cameo.
Huh.
Or you
Like
Well,
I
yeah,
we yeah,
it could
I
work.
someone maybe Ryan Reynolds, maybe we see a Deadpool
That'll
mask
be
or
a
something like
very
that.
big cameo to just throw in, but like
It
it
would
could
be
work.
huge.
I
It
mean,
would be
we got
huge.
remember how big it was to see Jonathan Majors in season one.
Uh,
Because I remember being on this podcast saying, I think he's gonna show up. I think it was Banky who told me like, nah, no, no, the show isn't telling you that. The show is telling you you're more likely to see another Loki variant at the end of time or something.
Oh yeah, I remember all of
So I
that.
remember us having that conversation, and when he showed up, it was a really big deal that this is like it's basically like Thanos being introduced on a TV show.
Hmm.
Effectively, was what it felt like at the time. So
I mean,
I think we could get something big, but I mean, also think about it. Like Disney, what's it called? Loki is like it's probably the best rated Disney Plus show. Like it's the only one that has a the post credit scene of Quantum Mania was a scene from Loki. Like no other Disney Plus show has gotten that level of recognition, I guess, from the movies. To be fair,
Hmm.
so I think if anything big is gonna happen, this is probably the show it would happen. Otherwise, it won't happen on any show. So yeah,
Fair enough.
agree. I think it will be Matthew McFadden from Succession. We're gonna get a Wamskins cameo.
Playing
as who?
who? Or are
He
you saying
oh
as Tom?
no, he's been cast in Deadpool 3.
Oh,
Oh
So he
yeah,
plays a TVA agent in
TVA
Deadpool 3.
agent. Yeah,
So I think he's going to show up
yeah,
as
true.
one of the pruned
oh,
ones.
that would make sense.
Maybe when they get crushed in a box or something. Maybe they're gonna Jake Gyllenhaal him and reveal that he was
Oh
there in the
god.
background the whole time. just the
That's such a
just the
Jake
fruit.
Gyllenhaal thing, actually. Just
I mean,
lurking in the background.
when when we think about it, it is a good opportunity to put in literally anybody because it works. The temporal loom just exploded. Plenty of timelines we're trying to get through the same rings. and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't making sense. So it just exploded. A lot of timelines would probably be affected. Some things would probably There'll probably be some collisions, or there will probably be some timelines literally being pruned out of existence. I don't know. And probably infinite timelines just in an instant being recreated all of a sudden. Like nobody really knows what could happen. So technically, you could probably have people slip between universes, and you could have, I don't know, any character from any of the old shows that were not canonically MCU literally pop up, and it would just be
Agents of
like a
Shield.
nice little. It would just be like a nice little, yeah. Coulson's are
No,
dead. Nice little cameo that we
He's in
can get. Like
Tahiti.
they could do
he can stay dead.
literally anything. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just not
There is,
holding my hats
yeah.
out like this one person will show up. Although
There
that
is a
that
rumor that we're getting Agents of Shield in Secret Wars, but again, it's rumors at this point. Everybody's showing up
We're
in
not
Secret Wars.
getting, and also, I hope they don't give them the satisfaction. So I'm going to take a bit of a detour here, right? I'm going to take a bit of a detour just to talk about Taylor Swift. Because there is a
Oh
portion
boy.
of the Taylor Swift, there's a portion of the Taylor Swift fan base that we don't associate ourselves with. They're the people that profess that Taylor Swift is secretly not straight and every single relationship that she's had publicly is just for PR so that she can secretly go and be gay in private. That's the theory. They're called gaylers. We don't associate ourselves with them, but they will find
That's a
any
sick concept.
excuse they will find any excuse to cram their stupid little indoctrination down everyone's throats. So that's what I feel about Agents of Shield fans. If you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So they'll say, "See, it's always been canon."
Mm,
It's always so. So I think the further that you distance yourself from Agents of Shield fans, the better it is for the MCU as a whole. Because once you start incorporating 7 seasons of like a mid TV show into the MCU, which is itself is already becoming a bit of a mid TV show, then I think you just. But Loki's saving it. But what I'm saying about it is that Agents of Shield fans are toxic. They're convinced. So I don't want any. I don't want Daisy. I don't want.
just just to say that the founder of this podcast is a very big Agents of Shield fan. So
Oh,
if
he.
this makes it if, if this makes this to air, I'll be very surprised. That's, that's why I've been cracking up here for so long.
Oh, oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, I feel like I knew that anyway, and we just avoided
You just
speaking
haven't.
about it because.
But to be fair, like he's not like the Taylor Swift fans you're saying. Like he's very content with his show
Okay, yeah,
at the same
everyone says that. Everyone says that though. Everyone says they're not that type of fan until they are. Until you
time.
until you catch them on Reddit
until
on Reddit
Daisy Johnson
talking shit
shows up.
about me. Yeah,
Yes,
or they get
until
like
Daisy shows
attacked
up.
by yeah, or they get attacked by an actor online. Not mentioning a
Oh,
name,
oh boy,
oh
but
boy.
here we go. Right,
I'm not
strike again.
mentioning any. I said I'm not mentioning a name. I said it.
Oh no, cool, cool.
But
But yeah, like I said, like
I
oh
do
sorry, go
think
on.
that I do think episode 5 and episode 6 are gonna be interesting, but I hope that they aren't slow. I hope that they keep up the pace that the last
Hmm.
couple of episodes have had and
Mm,
really
Yeah,
execute the finale properly. But
yeah.
I am also interested in seeing what it sets up, which I know is like bad and it feels regressive to like how to
Hmm.
approach the MCU now.
mm,
But the
Yeah,
show is so good that it makes me want to just pretend that we're back in 2016 with peak MCU content,
yeah.
where not only is what we're getting really good, but also we know that
But
what's
what is
coming
setting up?
next,
Yeah.
mm,
yeah, will also be good. I'm excited to see what this is setting up, but I'm also very concerned about the execution. But I am very
Mm.
excited. It's making me. It feels like I'm relapsing, going back into the MCU. like, like, yeah.
I
It
think,
feels,
yeah. To
but
be
in the
honest,
best
like
way. In the best way.
no, I get you because like I wouldn't lie. Before Loki, I think I was experiencing MCU fatigue. I think Secret
Mm.
Invasion just beat the hell out of me. To be honest, it's
yeah.
just like I'm very done with this. But yeah, I think to wrap up, I want us to go around and each of us just say one thing we expect or we expect or hope will
Expect.
happen in the last two episodes. Expect
One
or hope
thing.
any of the two. One thing each. Just one. I'll go first. I think we're gonna meet Timeline Mobius at some point. Like I feel like they've dropped it so much that we have to
Yeah.
meet him. Um, Mo, I'll go to you. One thing you either hope happens or you expect will happen.
Okay, so in addition to Timeline Mobius,
Hmm.
I expect that Loki and Sylvie will abandon the idea of a TVA and let and the only way to really have free will is to let things run its course and for there to be no interference. Because
Hmm.
I ultimately believe that Sylvie has the higher moral ground,
Yeah,
um, and I don't believe that a Loki and a Sylvie are capable of they don't know enough about timelines to manage that shit.
yeah,
Um, so
yeah.
why would you get the new hires and make them CEO like on the second day effectively?
So it's all about the
Also,
talent, isn't
are
it?
Asgard? I know Asgardians are power. I know Asgardian. Well, they're not even Asgardian. They're from Jotunheim, aren't they? But like, they're supposed to be powerful. But like,
Hmm.
are they the most powerful beings in the universe? Like, why would you put them in charge of everything to do with time? Like,
Exactly. It's like Emmanuel said. It's like
Because
it's because it's their show.
hmm.
It's their
that
show.
was
That's
literally
exactly.
that was literally-
No,
like
Uh,
when
so
like,
Loki
so
was like,
so
"Oh," when Loki was like, "Oh, it should be me to go out." I was like, the only reason I can think of is that it's your show. Like, there's literally no other reason why
not
it
even
has to
like,
be
oh
you.
yeah, he's thinking personal sacrifice. Like, well, Mobius did it
yeah.
last time. Like,
Nah,
wow,
I,
fair enough.
I I think it was a show. Like, I think that's
Fair
literally the
enough.
reason. Like, if it's sacrifice, I think he would have said it's just like it should be me.
Hmm.
Give us a reason, man. Like something. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Loki
Jeremiah,
becoming a
something.
suicide bomber.
Oh
I'll go with
boy.
a cop out
Oh
because
god.
again, I haven't thought about too much in terms of what we should expect to see next, other than I guess the theories that people are like, oh, they've seen people in these kinds of scenes. So I don't know how long, if for example they're scattered through time, I don't know how long it would take for the team to get back together. But I guess I'm expecting when you said you
You
want
can go
everything to
for
be
what
as
you hope to
intense.
see as well.
Yeah. When you say you expect everything to be as intense, I think we might first see a build or kind of like the first 30 minutes of Endgame is really us sitting in the gravity. Then there's now
Hmm.
this whole coming together of a plan, starting with Ant-Man just being Ant-Man. Um,
So another call to action, basically.
yeah, something like that. And then the other thing that I'm hoping to see is the obvious one is like we go to the void. Like I said, I'm gonna go cop out with this one. It's something that will likely
Fair,
happen, but it'll be
fair, fair.
hilarious if it doesn't happen. But we go to the void and see what happens with Renslayer and a bunch of other people who got purged.
That's fair. Stranger things have happened. So if they don't go there, so
Stranger
yeah.
Things season
Um.
5.
Ooh, we need to get on the podcast for
Oh,
that. But that would be some good stuff. But yeah, guys, that's everything I wanted us to go through for Loki season 2, episode 3.
Mm.
You've stuck with
4.
us. Thank you very much.
Episode 4.
It's been a bit of
Episode 4.
it's been of a oh sorry, episode 4. Damn. You see, I've been reset.
There
But
you go.
yeah, Loki season 2, episode 4. If you stuck with us, it's been a long one. We enjoyed the chat. Massive cliffhanger. We're excited for what comes next. And yeah, whilst you're here, check out all our other episodes on the channel. We've got episodes for Gen V coming out, as we mentioned. We're going to cover Invincible as it's starting back up in the next few days. We've previously covered Sex Education, Top Boy, Winning Time, and the Continental. And our sister podcast is The Cinema is Back. They've covered Taylor Swift's Eras Tour and the new Martin Scorsese film, Killers of the Flower Moon. So check all of those out. Um, and yeah, I want to say big thank you to my two guests. We had Mo back, editor in chief on Streamer. Check out the good stuff they do there. And thank you to Jeremiah as well. Anything else you guys want to say before we go off? Anything you want to tell the listeners to
I'm,
look out for?
I'm half tempted to just end the call here on a cliffhanger,
I was
much like
thinking
the
the same
episode ended.
thing. Like just like
Yeah,
it'll be perfect.
it would
But
be perfect. We should do it. I'm gonna do it right now. Bye.
Right?
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
no,
joking.
he
I'm
didn't
joking.
actually do it. Like
But yeah, guys, Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week with the fallout from everything. Right, have a good
Yeah.
one, guys. Take
Bye.
Bye,
care.
Thank
guys.
you.